And welcome back to episode 177 of the Weekly Tech Rant with me, Jay.
And me, Karl.
Welcome. We are back, as promised, with this week's lineup, which is mainly games-based, isn't it, as we talked about last week.
It is indeed.
But we got a couple of quick updates in the news section on Intel, which I think, given what we talked about last week...
It's not been a good week for Intel.
Not at all, is it? No, but I meant to say to you, I've decided to take the plunge and install macOS Sequoia Beta 15.1 on my MacBook.
Is this because you're after the AI?
Shh. No, I'm not.
I know exactly why you wanted that one.
But it doesn't work. It's no point because I can't. I can't do it. The thing is, for years I always ran the betas anyway.
Yeah.
And I've kind of held off this year on the Mac, but my Mac Mini is my daily driver, so I kind of can afford a little bit to take a plunge on the MacBook. And I did a load of research this morning anyway, of course on Reddit, because where else,
Oh, I see you're gonna go.
Well, yeah, because it's great. I mean, as much as I have a love-hate relationship with Reddit, I think 99.9% of it is utter tripe. But then you get some really interesting bits of information, like on the macOS Beta subreddit, where people are like, this is my setup, I'm having XYZ issues, or these are the bugs. And like some guy was asking, I'm thinking of taking the plunge, this is what I run, anybody got similar experience? And a guy comes in, it's like, yeah, I'm using this XYZ. And they're like, yeah, that's what I've got, perfect. Here's the issue. The issue that seems to be prevalent, I've discovered, in macOS Sequoia at the moment, is a permissions issue on screen sharing.
Oh, so I did vaguely read about that somewhere.
Yeah, so if you're in like Slack or Teams or whatever, and you do screen sharing, the permission window pops up saying you need to give permissions again, which, unlike on a Windows machine, a Mac, that means going into settings, clicking the box, and then it says you need to quit and restart the application. Which is a bit annoying, but I think I can live with that, apparently. The other one that I've read is there was some issues with the same thing, but with DisplayLink. Now, I use DisplayLink on the Mac Mini to power the third monitor, using that dongle. And apparently there are a lot of people complaining that that's got some issues where you're having to unplug the cables, replug them back in from the docking station. So I won't be touching Sequoia on the Mac Mini for that. Talking of Mac Minis, and this is probably something we'll cover in the next show.
Is this the M4 Mini?
I was going to say there's been news on this upcoming whole range of M4 powered devices that are coming out. And I've read that, you say there is rumors that the M4 Mac Mini could be the same size or slightly bigger, but roughly dimensionally similar to the Apple TV.
Yeah, well, they didn't really update the form factor, did they, when they went to ARM chips?
No.
So now this looks like they're going to.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got an Apple TV, I've got a couple of them. They're not particularly big devices, are they?
No, they're not.
So where are they going to stick all the ports?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll leave that one with you.
You're going to have an adapter to a
hub.
We're bringing the dongles.
No.
Sorry, anyway, I just got thrown. I got one of those dreaded emails from, have you been pawned?
Oh, no.
Literally live in. Not Sock Radar was the breach. 282,478,000 accounts. Two of my email addresses are in it. I'll have to read that one after the after the
talk
podcast.
Talk about live on air.
I've been breached.
Well, I haven't got one yet, so maybe I don't use that.
One of those dreaded emails. Yeah.
Before we get into the main news, then the other thing I wanted to break out was that next week we are on a pause. Both of us are out of the office for a week. You're on your travels, I'm on my travels, so there'll be a pause of 1 week's episode, and we'll be back with our regular scheduled programming, with an episode likely to be released probably around the 20th of August, I suspect, given the schedule. So that's the aim of the plan. Around the 21st of August, the next episode should be out. So again, next week we're on a week quiet, but we will be back. Just need to recharge and I guess do what you need to do, isn't it? Really.
My holiday's not going to be a recharge.
Listen, that's not for me to say.
I'm coming back to work for a rest.
Well, on that positive note, then let's kick off this week's stories and follow up on the conversation we had last week around Intel and. Obviously, last week what we talked about mainly was around the big plans, the big issues that Intel were having with the 13th to 14th gen. However, we kind of touched on a little bit that there was a workforce reduction, and more details have come out, haven't they, now, on what that actually means and actually what Intel are trying to do. It's not great, is it?
No, they are. They've announced their plan to cut costs by 10 billion in 2025 to kind of return to profitability. And they kind of listed how they're planning to do this, starting with, obviously, as we mentioned, laying off 15% or 15,000 of the workforce, which is never great news to hear. They're also looking to cut expenses in R&D, marketing, general admin to save $2.5 billion, cutting capital expenditure by between 2 and 7 billion. That's quite a large range. But expecting to save 1 billion on cost of sales. I also heard this morning that they've cancelled the yearly their innovation event that's usually held in September, so they've canned that one to save money. Simplifying the product portfolio and focus on fewer, more impactful projects is what they've said as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's always the thing, isn't it? Intel's product lineup is as wide as it is deep.
Staggering, it really is. The stuff they do.
It is unbelievable. And I guess if you look at the CPUs, there's a massive range of CPUs across there. And if famously, Apple did this, didn't they? Do you remember in the 90s when Jobs came back, they had such a wide portfolio, not to quite the same, obviously, specific degree of what they're, but they had such a wide portfolio that actually it's probably not a bad idea, is it, to do this? It probably is going to help them to streamline those costs. And also, dare I say it, from a consumer point of view, it's probably not a bad thing either, is it?
No, even just looking at consumer CPUs, there are so many different lines, and within that, different models. It's crazy.
As I say, if you're looking to buy something, and you are not somebody that, say, is deep into the specialist market, you really wouldn't know where to start, would you? Realistically,
I mean, I'm lost now because it's not Core i5s and Core i7s. They've changed the naming as well and thrown everyone, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. But I think obviously the biggest one is around the employee cuts, isn't it? On that point, to save this cost.
Definitely. So, and if you are a shareholder, you're not going to get your dividends every quarter now. They're canning that as well, or stopping that starting in Q4 for a while.
Oh, lovely. That's what everybody wants, isn't it? Canned dividends,
Yep.
So how many? So we're looking at the layoffs to be around 15,000 employees, isn't it?
Yeah.
Starting, I'm assuming, pretty soon by the way the information was reading.
I imagine, they'll be done by the end of the year.
So there was Pat Gelsinger published an email to his staff, which was then interestingly published by their own company on their external website, where to talk about how they want to save costs. And this was after their second quarter earnings, so they're in the middle of it. And basically, he talks through that he wants to reduce by 15% of the workforce. And he says it's painful, which it is. I suspect it's never easy as a manager to do that, to lay off people, but especially lay off thousands of people. But when you go through it, you just think to yourself, why how have they got themselves into this situation? That's the question, isn't it? Because all the work they're putting in, how have they managed to get themselves into such a mess? That's the question.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know if Pat's going to take a pay cut.
Well, given that he was paid, I think earlier this year, I saw that he was paid earlier this year $16 million. This year alone, which apparently was base pay of $1 million. This was some information I got off a public-facing website. Base pay of just over $1 million. Bonus and non-equity was $2.8 million. So that's total cash of just under $4 million, plus $12 million in stock, so another 12, and then other compensation was just under 400,000. So approximately 16.7. So not massively, going to, cause him any problems tomorrow, is it? That kind of money.
No, exactly. So it'd be interesting if he does. When it's 15,000 people.
Sorry, apologies. That was the official publication for the 23 fiscal year. So
so we don't know this year yet.
We don't know what this year is, but let's be honest, it's probably going to be higher. Isn't it? But I think this is not great news. They put themselves into a situation here that obviously they need to get out of. As we talked about last week, they are under massive pressure now from everybody else in the industry. AMD are snapping at their heels. Nvidia have taken the AI market away from them. TSMC have basically stolen the fab business, if you will, haven't they?
Yeah, well, and actually about the fab business, they have said they remain committed to its what do they call it, IDM 2
IDM
initiative 2,
2.0.
yeah. So and they've started building on their 18A their new process, so they're committed to that one apparently.
Which we always said that building a fab was never a quick fix, is it?
Or quick,
no. So none of that was going to happen overnight. But surely that factoring that into what was happening here, you'd have thought that their long-term plans and financial planning would have ensured that they knew that was coming. But it seems that obviously hasn't materialized, or it is. They were hoping for some returns, I suspect, earlier than they have. But well, alongside that, then obviously the one thing we talked about last week, then, was the issues with those 13th and
crashing
14th
and
gen
dying chips. Yeah,
yes, that there was really no kind of quick fix for, was there?
No, so there has been some good news. And so when we discussed it last week, at the time, Intel hadn't said anything about warranty support. They have now come out and said they're going to be extending the warranty by 2 years to give you 5 years total. But there is a caveat to that.
There's always
a but. This only applies to boxed retail processors. So if you've bought a PC system with one in that is not a retail processor, that's a system integrated processor or an OEM processor.
Yeah.
And quite often, even at retail, if I go to Scan or eBuyer in the UK, when I look at processors, I quite often have the option of OEM, which doesn't come with the heatsink fan, or retail. I'll usually go for the OEM. It's cheaper. I don't need the fan. But if you do, you've not got that extra warranty.
No.
I don't know what you bought, Jay. I think you bought one where you bought the retail, didn't you, with a fan?
No, I don't think I did, mate. I don't think I did get a fan.
Oh, I thought you bought the retail box. Okay. Maybe you're not getting your extra 2 years then.
I'd have to go back and check, but I never got a fan.
Oh, okay, then you probably got the OEM.
Which I think I probably did, yeah.
Well, yes, that's
darn. That's annoying.
Yes. So, good news-ish. If any of this is good news.
Well, this is it. So just a kind of reminder on that, they were saying that one of the causes was around what they call elevated operating voltage, and there was some MIDI code patches coming, which meant that it was going to be published through the BASes. So we're starting to see that come through. But it's not if your chip is damaged, there's nothing you can be done here.
It might make it a little more stable or stop it from getting worse, but it's not going to get better.
No, it's not going to get better at all. It is, you're in a serious situation. So I think, fair play to Intel to try and do something here.
Could have done it earlier. This has been going on for a while.
But I think on the other hand, this is kind of, we'll just do this and shut everybody up. Or we hope it will.
That's what your dividends is paying for, if you're an Intel shareholder.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You're right. Given all the cost cutting here, surely into that factor of bleeding money is the concern on a return from here. And again, I wonder, what we haven't seen here is, I wonder whether any of the OEM partners have privately gone back to Intel and said, you need to cough up here.
I imagine so. There'll be some heated conversations going on.
I would imagine there would be, because given...
there's not huge margins in building PC systems, is there?
Not massively.
And if the OEM has to foot the bill, they will not be happy.
No, they will not be happy. But we'll have to see what happens going forward then with this. But I suspect people will be wanting to, I bet people wanting to get their money back and get a chip that works, rather than have a chip that's sat there as a time bomb that could go pop at any point, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right then. Let's move on then to talk about games as promised then. So, we've got a bit of an interesting lineup this week. Just to kind of tee you up before we get started, we're going to talk about Grey Zone, which is a mill sim. We're going to talk about Wreckfest 2 and then Flight Sim 2024. Kind of intersperse those a little bit, I guess, with Wreckfest and Flight Sim, which we're currently playing, and GTA 6, which, it's still there. We just haven't heard masses about it, but it's still there. But let's talk about Grey Zone then. So,
Have you died
Grey
yet?
Zone is a military simulator set in a fictional South Asian sort of environment, isn't it? Kind of
Yep.
jungles and a rainforest, where you can play either PvP, so person versus person, or you can play PvE, so versus the environment. You can build a character as a squad, and the aim of the game in the PvE version, at least that we've been playing, is to undertake missions, isn't it? It's to gain money because you're
Yeah.
the kind of the crux of it is that you're not the military, so to speak. You're a military contractor, aren't you?
Bit more
Working,
mercenary, aren't you?
yeah, kind of
Guns for
working
hire.
for the government. But Carl, so tell me about your experiences with it then.
I have died an awful lot. An awful
should
lot.
we explain a little bit about that concept first?
Okay, so let's caveat this with saying that this is a very early alpha that we paid to get access to, because we've run out of Ghost Recon, haven't we? And we haven't managed to find another game that's Mil Sim, so we've jumped on this bandwagon. But yeah, I mean, there are certainly bugs and stuff, but let's forget about the bugs and we'll talk about those in a minute. But yeah, doing the missions, they are very hard. Very hard missions. You can't really see the guys, can you? You're fighting against. They blend very well with the background. There are no binoculars yet, so you can't scope the place out. So oftentimes going in blind and spend a lot of time dying.
And I would say, just to be clear on this, as you say, the reality is if you get shot, you get hurt. So there's a full health system in this game that covers that body.
You bleed out and all sorts.
You can bleed out. You can be grazed by a gunfire. You can be shot. And there are, blood pack. You have to do blood packs. So you
suture kits. Yeah.
You have to kind of. It's a bit like. I want to say it's a bit like Grand Theft Auto in that you can't keep running forever. You've got to stop. You've got to kind of drink water as well. You've got to have food. Feed yourself. And it's very good. Take all that part. It is you've got to help. You can help other people. And the med kits are important. And it's not just a standard med kit. It's no point saying, right, well, I've got to make it here. It's have I got bandages? Have I got gauze? Isn't it?
Headache tablets for the pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have I stopped the bleeding, properly? And
you can get nauseous, can't you? And it actually affects your vision and aim and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you keep running, you go you get dizzy. And we had so give a quick example of that. You and I were playing a mission the other day. Yeah. I made a run for it, didn't I, out the trees to avoid getting shot. Yeah. And I had to wait 5 minutes because my whole thing was shaking. I was dizzy. I was nauseous. I was panting. I couldn't hold the gun up to my hands because also if you keep holding the gun up in the ready position, your rifle to your eye, your arms get sore.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. It's it's crazy realistic in some ways, but as we kind of mentioned, there are a lot of bugs. Especially sometimes you can unload a whole clip into an enemy and he just doesn't go down, but he takes a single shot at you and you're dead. So there's some issues there, and also around. You would suspect you could hide in bushes. Apparently, from reading the bugs, and when we kind of back this up with real experience here, is that they seem to be able to see right through the bushes, but you can't see them.
No. Do you know what struck me the other day was also the sound situation? If if there's a bit of gunfire,
I can't locate where the sounds are coming from. The gunshots.
No, and if there's gunfire, I've not seen the film The Quiet Place, but I know the premise of it, and it's effectively like that. You make a noise, the NPCs are on you like. Brown stuff on a blanket. You can't get them off you. They're like
no.
It's like The Quiet Place and the aliens that just appear, don't they? But it is good. It's very tactical. And I. It reminds me of getting into DCS early on. You and I were struggling to start with, but once we worked it out how to work as a team, didn't we? How to upgrade our rifles to put on a decent sight.
Because all the weapons are very intricate. You can take bits off, put new mounts on, put scopes on. Change pretty much everything about the guns, but there is a money system there. So in the base version, you start with what was it, like 10,000, whatever the currency is, let's say dollars, and you can use that to buy kit, but it can get quite expensive because if you die in combat, you lose everything you've got unless you can get back to your dead body and pick up all the equipment.
Exactly. And we've done. So it depends on where you die. If you die in the middle of a hot zone, enemy, you're
Yeah,
probably going to struggle to get your kit back. And what you tend to find is at the base, there's loads of people who are just dressed in their standard clothes, as in like what you
with a
get the
knife.
first time, holding a knife, which is the basic weapon, and jumping on a chopper to go loot their own dead body. And you and I have done that a couple of times, and it's the only way to
Yeah,
kind of save face. And you're right. The only way to, and also if you want to log out, you have to go back to base and then end your deployment safely, or you've effectively logged out in the game and you
and you
could
lose
be
everything
killed.
again.
Yeah, lose everything.
Also,
So it's
I was trying to get back to my body, wasn't I? And then the game crashed as well, so I couldn't get back to my body and get my equipment. I lost it all. There have been a few crashes, isn't there?
Yeah, and apparently, so the other thing is like your helicopters. So to get around, there are no vehicles apart from helicopters, which you have to request from the base to a landing zone of your choice.
Yeah.
When the game starts off, there are 3 landing zones available to you, but there's nothing to stop you getting on any chopper that's leaving the base. So you and I have kind of been exploring our knowledge a little bit of the map, haven't you? By getting on
Yep.
random helicopters and then getting off at an LZ that we haven't unlocked, and then we obviously unlock it. You get some XP for being there, then you jump on you call another chopper back to the base. But it expands the area of operations for us, doesn't it, a little bit?
It does, and then we should probably talk about the different editions as well.
Yeah, definitely, please.
Yeah, you see, the way that differentiates the editions is basically one, the kit you start off with, the amount of money you start off with, but also the size of your locker back at base, your storage locker. That's only accessible to you. You can keep all your extra medical supplies and your guns and spares and ammo because you can't carry it all at once with you. And also the size of your secure lockbox, which you do carry with you. So you have a secure lockbox on you that if you die in the field, anything that's in there is saved. You don't lose it like everything else.
No, but that lockbox at start is very small.
Very small. It's a 2x2, and I think it only goes up to a 2x3 squares size.
You're not going to put weapons in there.
No, not maybe a handgun or something, but you want to keep any money you find in there, any kind of valuables to complete your mission with.
That's a good point. So you need that money. That money is absolutely crucial because you need that money to buy things from the shop.
Yeah, and the missions will give you extra kit and money for completing the missions. I have a confession to make. I caved and upgraded my edition.
What?
I went to Elite. I went 2 editions up. I was enjoying the game. I got carried away and spent another 40 quid on it.
Mike, this is the man who said at the time, I've had enough of this. This is terrible. I don't want to die anymore.
I know. I kind of got hooked. I had a really good couple of missions in a row and I hadn't died. I was like, oh, this is really good. And I got a bit carried away.
So just remind me again, then, what does that give you again, the Elite one?
So I've got a much larger locker. I think I start with 20,000, is it? Or 20,000 pounds, dollars, whatever. A load of extra equipment. But when you do the upgrade, it gets delivered to you in game. So I've got the extra money there. I've got some nice 6x scopes to go on my M4. Other bits and pieces. It was really, really cool. Not really used it much yesterday. I only upgraded yesterday. I haven't played really much since. But we'll have a go later. But yeah, I had a moment of madness and caved.
Oh my god, that's funny. That's really funny.
It was going so well. I remember, I literally, as I said to you, I'd done some missions without you. I literally had I think it was £1,000 left and no equipment because we died the day before with you, hadn't I? And I hadn't managed to get it back. And I managed to spend my last money on a rifle and a scope, and I managed to sneak in, kill all the bad guys, complete a mission or two with no sniper scope or anything like that, just the iron sights. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then got carried away.
I have to say, the one thing I want to really do though is I want to get myself a silencer.
Yeah, I was looking into that one. You have to get level 2 with one of the vendors called Gunny.
Gunny,
he supplies the guns, believe it or not.
How'd you guess?
I know, so you need to get to level 2, but I think you need to do about 15, 20 missions to get to level 2. You basically build up experience and relationship with him, XP points kind of thing. And then you can get the silencer, apparently.
Well, there you go. Well, news to me then, but there you go. You heard it here first.
I'll show you all my shiny new kit later.
Right then, well, let's move on. Let's talk about Wreckfest 2, because I know this is a game close to your heart, isn't it?
Oh, we do. We have played a lot of Wreckfest. We've had some great fun with it, haven't we? Especially considering it came out in 2018, so it's a 6-year-old
game. It's aged well.
It still looks good. It plays brilliantly. Me, you, and our mutual friend there have had much fun, many nights playing that one, haven't we? Around multiplayer, crashing a lot, seeing our bodies fly out the windows, in the lead, and die at the last second, taken out a crossroad. It's been great fun. But yeah, they released a trailer, didn't they, for Wreckfest 2 a few days ago.
Very nice.
Yeah, lots of basically enhanced physics engine. They say it will give you even higher crash fidelity, more realistic damage system. They've very definitely improved the graphics. It looks stunning, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, the game now looks like a game from 2024.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the graphics weren't terrible,
No.
but it kind of reminded me of Toka touring cars at times. You know,
Toka touring cars.
It was a little bit blocky in places, wasn't it? The damage system, whilst fun, was what you wouldn't call it realistic, would you? I think, to be fair.
No.
But the hilarity of driving around one of those circuits, one of the kind of demolition loop circuits in a lawnmower,
or a sofa,
or driving a car trying to avoid those NPC characters in a sofa.
Yeah.
Was something else, but I'm well up for this. I wonder whether or not this will be a Game Pass release. I think it might be.
I mean, they've also said they're going to revamp the career mode, haven't they? So and include challenges that feature vehicles not meant for the racetrack. Some more sofas and stuff like that, I imagine.
Basically,
or crazy vehicles.
But the game, so the career mode in the original Wreckfest was pretty standard, pretty linear, wasn't it? But as you say, they've decided now that they're going to redo it. It's going to, as their words were, supports every play style on your mission. So does that mean basically you drive like you want? I'm guessing it does.
Mate, but you did anyway in Wreckfest.
Yeah, and I think again they, as you say, the multiplayer piece here, plus the split screen is great. As long as they don't take out the private server capability, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean they haven't mentioned that. They mentioned what was it? The multiplayer will have skill-based matchmaking. There will be a local split screen. But they haven't mentioned anything about private servers. So I imagine there should be.
I hope so, because that to me is the best part about having a fun game with your friends, isn't it? I don't want to play with strangers.
No, exactly. I actually have friends. I can play with those.
But the trailer is really cool. It's like different camera angles, isn't it? There's kind of sort of up different tracks, dusty tracks. There's all a bit of there's a bit of a voice overview on it. It's very well done, isn't it? It's almost like a cinematic trailer to an action film and thing, isn't it? But the piece that made me laugh is it says they'll have a deeper armor and damage system, which makes my god, because the armor wasn't that great either, was it?
No, we could definitely do with improved tuning and upgradability on the cars.
The armor was like, we're down to 2% of what? I mean, as in 2% of that's it.
Boom. Exactly.
But so that'd be good. So that's coming later. They haven't given a release date.
No release date yet.
I suspect we'll see more trailers later in the year, probably a 25 release. I'd imagine, but we'll see. As soon as we have an update on that, we'll let you know. So let's talk about Flight Sim 2024 then. So we are massive fans of Flight Sim 2020, which was kind of the reset, wasn't it, of the whole flight simulator genre from Microsoft. There've been ones that are leading up to it, but this was the kind of reset. Last one before that was Flight Sim X.
Yes, which was donkeys old, wasn't it? It went around for ages.
Flight Sim 2020 kind of really reset the bar, was a landmark title, and really, let's be honest, was and still is an amazing flight simulator. Whether you want to pilot light aircraft, whether you want to fly commercial aircraft, the whole world system was great. The ability to have live weather, live conditions, plus multiplayer. We won't not get into the bugs of it, but it was a beautiful game. It really is a beautiful game, isn't it? And the early trailers that came out in some of the previews for 2024 have also been absolutely stunning. And 2024 also is going to bring with it the career modes that were in some of the older games, like the Rescue Pilot, wasn't it? Commercial Pilot, that kind of stuff, which we had in this one, but they were more of the lessons, weren't they? The landing challenges.
They were, and the third parties brought in kind of systems that integrate, didn't they? But this will be native to Flight Sim. And so there was a recent interview with, Jörg Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and obviously he let slip some of the new features coming, and wow, if this is true and actually the game, it looked amazing. So apparently players will be able to exit their planes now and explore the environment on foot. So you can get out your plane at the airport. You can land on a grass runway, get out and have a wander around South Africa or wherever you happen to land. It looked pretty amazing. But he was also saying that they're going to be doing or importing like transponder location data from all ships in the world to give you real time where ships are, and you could land on them with a helicopter, get out and walk around like you're in an FPS game.
Well, so I'm just thinking this, right? Imagine like you want to play as a helicopter thing, and you want to kind of set up a scenario where there's a tanker.
Yeah.
How cool is that going to be? That you can fly, and it's a real tanker that's currently, I don't know, in the Mediterranean or whatever.
Yeah. Shipping stuff over from China or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, really would be. But the getting out would be good, because I think you're right. You've got to be careful how to do this, but as long as it's executed nicely, there's some really good missions I think you can build in here to kind of the commercial piece, or like you say, the grass landings, that kind of stuff. There's a real added kind of immersiveness that can be done with this now, I think.
Yeah, some of the other things you mentioned, they're going to bring hundreds of new animal species in, kind of enhance that realism and immersion environment. They're also going to be accurately modeling trillions of trees. Down to the exact species, thanks to they're using AI, I imagine, to analyze the satellite imagery and determine what species of tree it is. So it's very, very accurate. But the big one for us, especially our hard drive space. So I was chatting to you last night about this, wasn't I?
Yeah, I'm still not convinced.
I've chatted before. So I've got a terabyte SSD, fast SSD, for my flight sims. I only have 2 flight sims installed, Microsoft Flight Sim and DCS. And they're both taking up 450, 500 gigs. Now, the base game of Flight Sim 2020 is apparently about 130 gig, but add all the world packs, you get up to 400 odd. Microsoft or Durag is saying that the base game will only be 50 gigs for 2024. They're making it more of a kind of a thin client experience. They're going to be streaming a lot more data from the cloud rather than storing it locally. So might save your hard drive.
Look, given how big 2020 grew, because every world update was another few gig. Every time we updated that game, it was in the gigs of data, wasn't it?
Every time I turned it on, there was an update. Yeah.
And I think that's, whilst that was good because it kept the game current, my worry is that look, I think what was it? I think in that post from PC Gamer, their particular install was 500 gig, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, mine's close to that. I've got all the world. I don't have a huge lot of third-party packs, but I have every world update download, and I'm close to 450, 500 gig on that, plus my DCS. I say I was contemplating buying a new 2 or 4 terabyte hard drive just for the flight sims.
But the problem with this, though, and call me kind of playing devil's advocate here, but the worry is offloading a lot to the cloud means that if your connection isn't going to be great, are you going to
have a worse experience?
Yes, exactly my point.
But then I suppose there was a setting in Flight Sim about how much you cached locally, wasn't there? You could choose how much hard drive space you allocated to cache data locally, so you may be able to cache a lot to help with that experience.
Yeah, I suspect we might be able to, but it's a positive thing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for this, and this is coming out in November, isn't it?
Allegedly so, unless they change it to call it Flight Sim 2025.
I think they're going to stick with 24. But I think, that'd be great. So, I mean, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to do multiplayer on this. I can't wait to uninstall Microsoft 2020, Flight Sim 2020, and get some space back.
Be interested to see how many of the add-ons.
Oh, that was just going to be my final point. Yeah, because we've got obviously bought quite a few third-party add-ons. So I would want to ensure that we carry a lot of those across, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, quite a few of mine are from Orbex, and I'm sure they will make those compatible.
I hope so. Oh, I've got a very loud helicopter going over, so that's probably very audible on the track there.
I can't hear it. You're good.
That makes a change. So then, let's finish off a little game section with GTA 6 then. So GTA 6 is undoubtedly going to be the game release of 2025, isn't it?
Definitely.
If it comes out in 2025. Basically, if you're releasing a game towards the end of 2025, I'd just scrub it now, walk away, abort, because GTA 6 is going to be the only thing people are going to want to play and talk about.
Yeah.
So this is, let's say, scheduled as in the American terminology of the fall of calendar year 25. So for those of
Yep.
us in normal place, autumn.
And that's been
So
confirmed with Take-Two's latest earnings report. It's still on track.
and so that's September, then I'm guessing onwards. But let's say
Yeah.
September to November potentially. And given that GTA 5 launched in September 2017, that makes pretty much September 13. Sorry, I always do that.
God, it's 13, was it? Wow.
Because I realised my eldest child is the same age as that game. Oh dear God. But yeah, so that's so okay. But I mean, look, there's still no word on the PC release, though, is there?
No, it's still, even the latest updates, it says Xbox XS, PlayStation 5, but still no sign of the PC release, which is a bit gutting, really. They seem to do this all the time, or Take-Two do. I mean, how long did we have to wait for the PC release on GTA 5? Was it a good year or two, maybe? I don't know why. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS, all x86. Especially on the Xbox, you're developing with the same tools for the PC and the Xbox.
And this is puzzling.
Why is it taking so long?
Because I'll be honest with you, these days I'm very unlikely going to be able to sit down in front of the Xbox and play like I used to on GTA.
Certainly not GTA with the kids around. So that leaves the evenings, and then this is not going to work. Yeah. I'm going to have to move the Xbox to the office if I want to play on it.
I was just going to say, when the kids were babies and that, you could play it, get away with it. It's no problem. But now, it's not going to happen. Which is a shame because I will be getting it on day one. I'm sorry.
I will be buying this twice, I am sure. One for the console, one for the PC when it comes out.
But again, I wonder whether at some point it will get a Game Pass release. I wonder,
that would be a big, big investment from Microsoft. I'm sure the CMA would love a word about that.
I wonder. I'm sure it's been discussed. I'm sure it's been kind of thought about. But yeah, you're right. The CMA, the FTC, we're all probably, and the EU would probably be on this like a dog on a cake.
If it was Sony, it wouldn't be a problem. But Microsoft, they'll be all over that.
Yeah, I do think you're right. It would be a great opportunity, but it isn't going to happen given the way that these are. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it gives us plenty of time to save up for 2 copies.
Because it's Take-Two. What do we reckon the price is going to be on here? I reckon they're going to push this over 70.
I am going to say, 70 at least. Based around 50, 60, but they're going to probably do a bundle, aren't they? 70 upwards. So there'll be I bet you there'll be the old stupid or singing or dancing one, should be a dodgy amount of money, when it comes with something. There'll probably be the bundle. Do you remember GTA 5 got, I can't remember what it was, but you got like 1 million credits, didn't you, in game
Shark
or something?
Bucks or whatever was it? Some Shark Card, or I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, it wasn't called that back then, was it? But you got the money in the game, didn't you, after the first or so mission? But yeah, I imagine it'll be there. But I would say a budget £70 $70 minimum, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's going to be a pricey one.
It is definitely going to be a pricey one for that. But what do you expect? What do you expect? It's GTA. People are going to buy it. It's especially given the time since it came out. There's going to be so many people that are going to want to be there and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's finish off then with a quick rumor then. So, Apple Watch SE then.
Yeah, it's not iPhone news. It's
no
on watch news. Yes, so it's been a 2 odd years since we had the Watch SE release. I think back in 2022. So we're probably due a new one this year. And the rumor is it may switch from an aluminium body to plastic. Likely to reduce manufacturing costs, I imagine, for Apple on that one. Give us more colors. I mean, is this going to be similar to what they've done with the iPhone 5C? We had the plastic body and all those shiny colors. I
don't think this is a bad thing. I mean, given the market, let's think about the market for the SE. You're thinking more lower end consumer, aren't you? People who don't want to spend the big money, but they want the basic features of the watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sure, and also perhaps more kids for the SE as well, isn't it?
Definitely.
So, I think this would be great, but will this mean that they'll keep the price, but give more features?
Yeah.
Or will
What's the
they-
price to
or
the
will
end
they-
user?
Or will they drop the price and not change the feature set?
Don't know. I imagine they're going to upgrade the SOC on it at this point. It's quite old by now.
They'd have to. They'd have to.
Will we get any more health sensors? Maybe one, but you're right. If they reduce the price to the consumer, I think that would be a big win for them. So especially if you want to buy one for your kids, as you mentioned, the plastic might be a bit more hardy or less likely to damage than the aluminium or scratch. I think if you had all these bright multicolours, the kids would love it.
I really like it. I think if this I think this watch is great. You know, my eldest kids have been asking about Apple Watches. Don't really want to get into that, but I think if the pricing was good, you know, maybe I could consider it. You know?
Can you afford to get into that?
Not necessarily, no.
Times 4 watches.
yeah,
and phones.
You're right, but but I think, you know, on a different point though, if the price point was better, I wouldn't see an issue necessarily of getting into it. I think you're right, and I think the SE watch is perfect for what it does, what it says on the tin. It's absolutely the right watch. You know, if you just want the basic capabilities, it's a great entry level device, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. My son's got the current gen SE, and he loves it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to definitely go Ultra this year. Whether that's Ultra 3 or potentially Ultra 2, it could be Ultra 2.
Discount on the Ultra 2.
Yeah, you know, if the rumours are that their feature set isn't going to change this year, because
feature set didn't really change between the Ultra 1 and 2, did it?
Well, no, but really? If given the rumours of, you know, the concerns and obviously all the lawsuits, whether that spills over to them not doing much with it, I don't know. But if the feature set doesn't look that compelling, then I'm pretty confident that would stay with the Ultra 2 and get a good discount.
You know they're going to release it in space grey, and that's the one you're going to want.
That is the problem. I'll give you that.
They'll do that to you. You'll find it out thinking, I can buy the 2. And they'll bring out space grey, and you think, darn, I need to buy the 3 now.
Yeah, that is going to be that noise. But let's not think about that right now. But no, I think look, I'm happy with it. I think this is pretty. If it's true, this is pretty cool. I can't see any issues with this person.
No, not at all.
I think for the watch it is, for the market you're in, why wouldn't you? It seems no different. And having it plastic or metal, I don't think makes really any difference. And as long as it still has the the durability, then what's the problem?
No, exactly. Yeah, and especially if it's cheaper to the consumer.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Right. Well, on that point, then, that's probably a good place for us to wrap up for today. As I said, we're going to be taking a week break now. We'll be back, in 2 weeks' time with the episode being released, let's say, around the 21st of August. So whatever you're doing, stay safe, have fun, enjoy, the summer, as it were. We certainly will be trying our best to do that. And when we come back with all of the latest news and updates from the tech world. So don't forget, you can find all our show notes at techrant.online. And of course, we're still on X, Twitter at Weekly Tech Rant, and on YouTube as well at Weekly Tech Rant. So I've been Jay.
I've been Karl. Have a good day all.